Address to Bo of the fifth column. John Weaver, Rosamond, California. It's 12:42 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's August 4th, 2023 for a Friday. Just caught your vid, dude. U.S., Strait of Hormuz, and Biden. Every once in a great while, maybe if they catch the news on this one, it'll be on the major networks. But they kept it down, they kept it low because everything else was getting to be more of a priority. More U.S. politics. Taiwan's a little bit more because there's a lot more noise. This one is not so noisy, Bo. And there are reasons for it, especially if they're going to be doing some security. If you are hearing rumors about it, maybe they are, maybe they aren't true about this. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually use some certain persuasive people to board the ships that maybe or maybe not would contribute to security one way or another. And they already have their forces already scattered thin as it is on that one. Now, I know you're probably not wondering, and maybe for the audience, you'll wonder it for them about why not the heavy duty artillery. And you are correct concerning about the poker game here. I mean, it's high stakes, and we got people trying to use as much leverage as they can to make sure that their voices are being heard one way or another. And the other way is whether or not there's going to be another boom or not. I'm not just talking about a tanker blowing up. No, no, no. What I'm talking about is a nice little boom to the head. You see, if they are going to go for it, and it would be my own personal experience. I haven't been in the military. I'm not military trained. But if I was, I would not put it past our military forces to do a little equalization and also do a little warning shot. Not across the bow, but through a windshield or a portal. Just to tell them and let them know that they have protection. I mean, they could have warned them on the radios and say, this particular tanker, do not come across. They could put a bluster out there saying this is protected. And of course, the Iranians may try to board the tanker. That's when you probably need to do the shot across the bow, or actually through the portal, or just zing them one and say, "Come closer." It's at that point I know flashpoints and cooler heads need to be prevailed, but you either give up the damn tanker, or you're going to get into a firefight and watch the whole damn thing blow up. But if they are warned off, even by a shot across the bow, so to speak, I know this ups the thing very dangerously because now they're going to be thinking every ship is going to be flagged, and they don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Or maybe they'll be a little bit more aggressive in their situation. It's bad enough over Syria that when American drones were flying over and surveilling, that you had Russian jets interfering. They don't have to touch them, they just have to get them in a wake, and then the jet wash will cause drones to malfunction, crash and burn, or back off. That's one way of avoiding a bullet across the butt past the bow at this point. And yeah, they're playing high stakes game at this point over here. They know the oil productions in different countries along the Gulf mean money to other countries. Interfere with the money, and then we got this issue going on. If we're going to be able to get it solved, that's another thing altogether. It hasn't gathered enough attention in the public because they don't want it. This is one of those kind of things that are being suppressed because maybe they are conducting. Maybe it hasn't mattered enough to the public. The grain in Ukraine is more important, and what's happening in the Russian situation seems to be more important than the Gulf of Hormuz. Actually, I'm sorry, the Strait of Hormuz. I know, and I got to get up to speed on that. Biden's not going to talk about an ongoing operation. If there is any kind of ongoing operation, it's not going to be in the public eye. It's going to be quiet. We're not going to hear much about it, and it's a way to keep a lid on things. Unfortunately, Ukraine is getting more and more of the attention. It's publicizing it left and right. So yeah, they are getting attention at this point. And China and Taiwan and Japan are still banging on their drums, trying to get more attention at this point over here. Plus the fact North Korea, in their situation, banging on their drums. Meanwhile, another bang on the drum is another for that Russian dissident who is trying to run against Putin, got poisoned, recovered, came back again and got imprisoned. Putin wants to bury everybody who's going against him. And he's losing support somehow. He's wasting a hell of a lot on this Ukraine situation. He's gambling a hell of a lot. If you look at the political realm in this one here, Bo, the bully of Russia is hoping that the United States changes its president from Biden back to Trump again. Somebody that he can manipulate, and you're quite correct on that one there too. Because that means that democracy is failing. He's got the edge and he'll use the momentum on it. However, if the primary holds out, that we can still get a lead for democracy, enough for the Trumplicans. That sends a message over to Putin that America can't be bought. It pissed me off when I actually heard from one of the other news organizations that we actually had Chinese dissidents, actually not Chinese dissidents, but Chinese spies in the United States military. I think they caught them. But they were talking a little bit about it, and I just missed up on the news on that one. In the Navy and also in the either Army or Marines. Not officers, non-coms. Who the hell would suspect? So now the Pentagon is going to have to be looking at this very closely, concerning about how the people they screen anybody and everybody. They usually look forward to the prison situation. I mean, if they then weren't in prison, then fine. But if they were in prison, would they be able to trust them or not? But decades ago, they probably did the same damn thing. I'm not going to say it's just a thunk. It's just as scary as hell that we're dealing with right now as it is. Yeah, we're living in a topsy-turvy world at this point over here where nothing's making sense, is it, Bill? Finland, Russia. Russia doesn't want another member of NATO because it puts more stranglehold on him. Kind of sucks. Texas, unfortunately. And Alabama. How the hell are we going to be able to deal with these red states and keep them in line at this point over here? If it's not keeping them in line, I know we got the implied powers to let them do whatever they want, but come on. And I'm usually putting a finger on the people at this point over here because it's the people who voted the sons of bitches in the first place. And are not doing a damn thing about it in the first place. So yeah. And they don't want to do anything about their states. They're going to let these states turn into autocratic societies. They're supposed to be democratic. Shh, they're losing it left and right. And I blame the people because they're not strong enough to do it. They're proving that democracy is failing because it's supposed to be the people that keeps them in line. We're the schmucks that keeps voting in the elected officials. It's up to us to get them out of office, to put up a new one who can actually do the will of the people. Provided it's done it democratically at this point over here, and they haven't turned the state into an autocratic society. I feel like we're going back to the Civil War, Bo. We're not using guns, we're using anything else but guns. Unless, of course, we are going to be using guns to back it up. That scares the hell out of me at that point. And I noticed that the response and the feedback over in Washington D.C. there wasn't any. Well, if there was, they they weren't showing him as much as I'd seen on the news, and they weren't going to give him the credit at the point. But they weren't going to give Trump that kind of an issue or support with signs out by the roads leading over to the courthouse and telling him he's all right, or lynch his ass, lynch him in the courtroom, put him up on trial and skin him alive, and then we'll show a very, very miserable Trump who couldn't get support from his followers. But he'll find a rally and he'll find a way to keep belly aching about it, and I keep expecting him to open up his mouth on this one. I tell you the truth, I'm trying to be hopeful regarding Biden in this situation. And every time I keep hearing the Trumplicans in Congress want to impeach Biden, these fools and idiots keep forgetting how short the time is to do so, and who picks up the office when Biden's gone. Bo, did you ever cover that particular portion? Whenever the President of the United States is incapacitated in any way, shape, or form, they got to sign paperwork to transfer power to the Vice President of the United States. The VP's got to take over. If we're talking about assassination situation here, God forbid, but if we're talking about assassination like what happened to Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson took over. He had to swear. Take care of the paperwork later. Just get the country taken care of. So whenever anything happens to Biden, Harris is going to have to pick up. And they keep forgetting this because they want their political theater. And everybody keeps forgetting about this damn shit because nobody studies history, let alone political history or political science. But nobody studies U.S. history anymore, let alone world history. They don't care. Bo, they don't care. Well, I keep hearing about these damn numbers out there that people are depending upon all these polls, what people are thinking about. It's the interviews with these other people I'm listening to. They are really uneducated, and they're blithering idiots. Of course, that's a good way for having the algorithms to pick up on things left and right, Social media algorithms. Once they got you locked in for a favorite thing, it's hard to get out of it or move to another topic without getting locked into that damn thing. Marketing, marketing, marketing. Some people will call it corporateville. Well, I don't know what the hell you call it. Except marketing, 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 trying to brainwash you into something. I have to keep my interests varied online. I have to. I don't want to keep being labeled as this one thing or that thing. I can label myself, thank you very much, I can label myself as a fool and idiot. Is that negative enough? I can label myself as a libturd or a libtard. Good Lord, I could label myself as a democratic socialist. The only problem is I keep forgetting people don't understand the political terminologies and what the groups are, including how to do socialism. Mo, can I educate you? You seem to be educated enough. Can you probably respond either in comment or in video, kind sir, whether or not you understand communism and socialism and democratic socialism? I've done videos on this one. I'm going to do another video to explain this thing. So hang in there, pal.